Oh, Dudu Bananinha. He paid 180,000 to watch the Brazil vs Japan game and stayed in a 5-star hotel in Miami. Look here, people went after him. He was in a 5-star hotel here in Miami. Who is paying the bill? Who paid the 180,000 just for the ticket to watch the Brazil and Japan game? It's just that he doesn't have a job there. He had a job here. He was a federal deputy. He earned almost 100,000, left the position, left the salary, and went to the United States, saying he went there to struggle. And now, but that lie has already fallen apart. He lives in a 6 million real house. He went to watch the game, 180,000, and the boy didn't pay anything for him, you know? Not even a little. He didn't pay anything for him. He was staying at a 5-star hotel in Miami. Who's paying this bill, guys? They're scammers, right? They call the pricey grandma, right? The movie money, which didn't go to the movie. Yeah, this really needs to be investigated as soon as possible, guys. This is a serious situation that needs to be investigated. Because these people, for God's sake, right? Meanwhile, things are getting out of control. Paulo Figueiredo said that Michele is cheating on Bolsonaro. Paulo Figueiredo called Bolsonaro a cuckold. And he said that Michele is cheating on him, that she cheats on him, that he has proof. They are trying to bring Michele down in every possible way because Michele is bringing Flavio down. In today's poll, look, Flavio is just tanking, just getting screwed. Then Otonio de Paula talked about this here, defending Michele and Damares because they said that Damares was also having an affair with the pastor. Guys, what a mess. People in power. What is this, guys? How shameless are these people? But notice the war. And these people who claim to be so holy, God, homeland, and family is just a bunch of nonsense. Look here.
Who admits that their partners call them a cuckold? How? If you don't want to respect an honorable woman like Michele Bolsonaro, respect the leader you call your leader. I rise to this podium today to express my full and unconditional solidarity with my sister in Christ Jesus, former First Lady Michele Bolsonaro, and also with my sister in Christ Jesus, Senator Damares Alves. To both of them. They have been attacked not by the PT, not by the left, but have been shamefully attacked by Flavio Bolsonaro's friends. They have been attacked in a cowardly way. Cowardly. To the point now that Flavio Bolsonaro's friends are insinuating that Michele Bolsonaro is having extramarital affairs. Insinuating that Michele Bolsonaro is cheating on President Bolsonaro. How far have we come? To what point of cowardly attack have we come? Another friend of Flavio Bolsonaro also says that Damares is having an affair with the pastor. A sexual affair with the pastor. My people, what's going on? What's happening? But this is what anyone who dares to disagree with the Bolsonaro clan goes through. That's what happens to anyone who dares to confront the Bolsonaro clan, which today is the worst thing in Brazilian politics. And my question is, what about President Bolsonaro? He's not dead, but it seems like he is. He's alive. How come he can't control his own family? How come he can't control his children's crazy, reckless impulses? How come he can't protect his own wife? How come he lets his allies call him a cuckold? How? To what point? If you don't want to respect an honorable woman like Michele Bolsonaro, at least respect the leader you call your leader. Where was Bolsonaro when Michele poured her heart out in that video? Where was Bolsonaro when Flavio said, if I offended? And folks, let me tell you something. This group is set on handing the government back to Lula again. The only thing they don't want is for a new leader to emerge on the right. If Lula is reelected, that's already part of the package. There can't be any new leadership. And if that leader is their father's wife, they'll kill her too. Because what they really can't allow is for someone without the Bolsonaro last name to become the leader of the Brazilian right. It was never about Brazil. It was always about family.
The cabaret's on fire. Yeah, now we're talking, right? Oh, Tony. tell Cayado to call Michele. Because we're going to announce it, right? It's already been announced. I don't know. Cayado's running mate. Apparently, it's going to be more of the same and very little from Gilberto Casab, who is the president of the PSD, who is going to let Cayado run as a candidate. And Cayado is also just going downhill. Call Michele to be the running mate. What do I want? I really want things to get heated. I want you all to go on the attack. Why? You said this is happening because no one can stand up to the Bolsonaros. But there's a catch. Michele is a Bolsonaro. Huh? She's more of the same and very little else. Is Mari Salva being attacked too? She's a Bolsonaro or not? You were a Bolsonaro until I extrudia you, as my grandmother used to say. So for me, it's the pot calling the kettle black. It's just like Cayado. Cayado, he extrudia himself. He was also a Bolsonaro. What happened? You bowed your heads and bent over for Bolsonarism, and Bolsonarism is destroying the right wing in Brazil. By the way, Lula didn't have to lift a finger for all this mess and shamelessness that's happening among you. Imagine when Lula takes a stand and puts himself out there, which he'll only do when his candidacy is officially registered and the real election actually begins. Lula will win in the first round. You are incompetent, you are sellouts. When not for the foreign government of Mrs. Tranquera, you are sellouts to the extreme right, coup plotters, criminals, and corrupt. What will happen? Lula will win a fourth time in the first round. Go call Michele, set the place on fire. I really want you to set it on fire because it has to burn so it can be reborn. Because this one that's there, this lousy right wing, is worthless. Because they covered up for the far right, and now it will have to die to be born again. What do I think? It's not enough.
Meanwhile,
in the Hall of Justice, all hell breaks loose. Look here for the extension.
she stirred up the backstage of the ride again by reposting a video in which former Governor Antonio Garotinho makes accusations about alleged parties organized by businessman Daniel Vurcaro, with the presence, according to him, of politicians who defend conservative values. Let's listen.
You won't believe it. I'll even tell you, without naming names here, what the party was like. The name of the party, the Night of the Astronauts. I said the Night of the Astronauts. What is that? Then I went to watch the video. The naked women, not just the naked women, but the women had astronaut helmets on their heads. And then, for the man to choose the woman, he would lift the visor of the helmet and say, "This is the one I want." Guys, this is absurd. Representatives, senators, governors, many secretaries. Man, who owes is the family.
Senator, the governor states that he had access to videos showing representatives, senators, governors, and many secretaries who claim to defend the family. At the so-called astronauts party, the event was said to be full of naked women. The post was interpreted by allies as a veiled reference to Senator Flavio Bolsonaro, who recently had to explain his relationship with the Vorcario. The episode, of course, reignites the tension between Michele and her stepson, even though both have made public statements in defense of the group's unity.
Things are heating up, so Michele decided to step down from her position as president of PL Mulher. And the group of women there are on Michele's side. And things are getting wild. Pedro Rousseff talked about it here. Let's check out what Pedro Rousseff said about Michele leaving the presidency of PL Mulher.
Good candidacy from Flavio. Michele Bolsonaro just announced she's stepping down from leading PL Mulher. This, folks, is to finally to put an end to Flavio Bolsonaro's candidacy. Rachadinha is desperate now. Just like I said yesterday, Michele is getting ready to be the PL's presidential candidate instead of Rachadinha. Valdemar da Costa Neto is with Michele. If the party president is with her, there won't be anything left for Rachadinha, folks. He's dropping in the polls, sinking. And now Michele, who's spreading everything against Rachadinha, is going to start stepping in and putting her name forward to run in the elections. And guys, personally, I'm rooting for the fight itself, because whether it's Rachadinha or Michele, both of them are going to lose to Lula again. Share this video as much as you can, because I'm rooting for the infighting and the chaos.
Me too. I'm rooting for Pati Patifaria. Because, my dear, you might say, Andre, that's bad. No. Dirty tricks have always been part of the Bolsonaro family. But they used to cover it up with a veil, talking about being saints, God, country, family, and hiding the truth. What do I want? I just want the truth to come out. This kind of shady behavior is normal in the Bolsonaro family. What's happening now is nothing new. What's new is that it's being revealed. The fights and the constant bickering that always existed within the Bolsonaro family and that they used to hide from everyone. That's the situation. And what do we stand for? The truth. The truth has to come out. And the truth is coming out. Congressman Reneo Leo Norad, my dear, also talked a bit about this. Pay attention. Put Lula as a 4-time winner in the first round.
If it's about Flavio Bolsonaro's stepmother, who supposedly has long-standing family ties with him and says she's been humiliated, disrespected, treated like an idiot. Her own phrases, her own words, and in the end, she makes one more statement. I know more than you think. She says at the end of her video, I know more than you think. Let's go. To me, it's clear that there's a very obvious message. If someone who knows Flavio Bolsonaro intimately within the family is against Flavio Bolsonaro, even if later they might say, no, I forgave, everything is forgiven. But what was done during 27 minutes more than 25 minutes was exactly to show that he is not trustworthy and that he is, according to her own words, not a trustworthy person. So let's go. If his own family is saying that, imagine what the Brazilian people think. So I continue here stating that for me, there is something beneath the surface that is not clear up to this moment. But within Flavio Bolsonaro's own campaign, or at least within Jair Bolsonaro's closest circle, it's already evident. And the attempt being made now is for there to be a conversion or a change of candidacy in time to be approved in this process, which goes until August 15th. Let's see. I could be very mistaken, but the information, the way it was said, everything that was mentioned in this video seems to me to corroborate this thesis. Just to wrap up, it's good to remember, right? Michele Bolsonaro, today, she is the president of PL Mulher, and that's a key point, right?
She left the presidency of PL Mulher and she's ready for a fight. It's either her or she's out. And from what everything indicates, that's it. Shall we look at the poll? Lula almost wins in the first round. Today's poll from Atlas Intel. Shall we take a look here? Make it bigger so it's better. Let me make it bigger here. Look, on this one, look there. What? Hold on. I'll make it bigger. No, make it even larger so it's easier to see, right? Look here, Atlas Intel. Notice here. Lula, 41st round, first round. Lula, 47.2% of the voting intentions. But with less than 3 percentage points here, Lula wins in the first round. Flavio, just look. It went from 40 down to 36, just dropping. Flavio, look at the other candidates here. Renan dos Santos went up. He's at 7.8. Renan dos Santos from Missão. Romeu Zema, 3%. Caiado, 3%, 3.1%. I don't know. Look here, guys. Patico Lula wins in the first round. And by the way, Flavio Bolsonaro plummeted among women. And he plummeted among evangelicals. And Lula rose among women. And the intention to vote among evangelicals increased. The truth is coming to light. And there won't be one stone left on top of another. People will know how to choose the best candidate for Brazil. That's why there's all this fighting in the Bolsonaro family. Michele is trying to take Flavio's place because they know what Flavio did. last summer. And they know that Flavio will fall more and more. And Lula said Tico, he is a candidate because he is going to save Brazil again from these fascists is to guarantee democracy. Pay attention here.
80 years old with the vitality of a 20-year-old, I will run for president of my country for the fourth time, and I will run in the elections. To be able to ensure that Brazil remains a democratic country, because it's impossible for us to imagine irresponsible people governing a country of 215 million inhabitants, a population that has dreamed for many decades of seeing their country become developed, and it never manages to be, because it was never allowed to be. And I do this today for one reason only. First, because I took over a devastated country in 2002, and we rebuilt the country. That in 2010, when I handed over the presidency, our economy was growing at 7.5%, 7.5%. The workers' total payroll was the highest in history. And we lived through a very important moment, and we wished Dilma well. I was out for 15 years. In 2014, we had ended hunger in Brazil. When I came back in 2023, we once again had 33 million people going hungry. In 2.5 years, we ended hunger in Brazil again. Today, Brazil has the lowest 4-year cumulative inflation in its history. Brazil has the highest total payroll in its history. Brazil is experiencing the lowest unemployment in its history. And Brazil only grew above 3 when I returned to the presidency. The country has recovered. It is experiencing its best economic period. It is experiencing its best period of growth during this time when the world is going through a crisis. For these reasons, I will run again.
And God willing, he will win in the first round and Brazil will get even better. We need to improve more. And the one who has that ability is Lula. Put it there, Lula, 4-time winner in the first round. Meanwhile, how are things going in the Senate? Over in the Senate, the labor unions and the union federations are all pressing Davi Alcolumbre so that Davi Alcolumbre will move forward with the constitutional amendment which has already been approved in the Chamber of Deputies and just needs to be approved in the Senate, which puts an end to the 6x1 work schedule. Put it there. End of the 6x1 work schedule. Davi Alcolumbre, enemy of the people. If Davi Alcolumbre doesn't put this up for discussion, folks, it won't be approved. Go after him on social media. And there's already some movement happening there. The new leader in the Senate from the Workers' Party spoke little about this situation and about the movement together with the labor unions. Teresa Leitão, let's listen to the update on this situation.
We had 3 sessions in the Justice Committee. We had the meeting between the president and representatives of the business owners. Today, we had the meeting with the president, accompanied by Senator Paim and myself, with all the representatives, the union federations. Soon, we will have a debate session in the plenary. It's been a long time since we've had a debate on a constitutional amendment in the plenary. It's good to appreciate that. And the procedures that are missing are adjustments we will make during the process, with all the goodwill, with full awareness of the importance of this constitutional amendment. There's nothing better than dialogue, than listening to people, than analyzing the situation so we can achieve this victory, just like we did before, which was highlighted and remembered in this meeting. I'm telling you that the schedule will be set. The schedule for the constitutional amendment is not an electoral schedule. It's a schedule. The schedule is being put together. It's not an electoral schedule because of all these forces, government and Congress.
And the first view you send from the PCCJ before the community army? No.
It's not the electoral calendar, it's the parliamentary calendar, it's the Congress calendar. So let's analyze after this debate what our next step will be with this resolve. Because the interest in approving the end of the 6 days on, 1 day off schedule is the interest that unites us.
Did President Lula make any request to you about the vote on the proposed constitutional amendment?
You answer, my government leader in Congress.
No, he only emphasized its importance. He only presented it. The president laid it all out for us, even publicly, right? When he invited me, along with the Minister for Political Coordination, Damares, to go over all the follow-up steps. We'll work to ensure these developments succeed.
I just want calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. Just a little bit. Look, the most important thing for me, they already said everything. But Davi, he presented a position there that touched my heart. How can I put it? This is the moment. This amendment, this constitutional amendment, is the constitutional amendment of my life, right? Because of the whole history of the union movement. He said the following: why such a long transition? You guys understood, you know the subject. What I've seen in terms of complaints is because this transition that came from the chamber, which in my understanding was reasonable, the sectors wanted, they tell me, Paim, we're not against it. We just want to discuss the transition. And Davi left it hanging, and I stepped in because I was a constituent. In the Constitution in 88, it was 48 hours. We moved to 44, and there was no transition enacted in 44 hours. So Davy asked us this question. We explained there was participation from the labor unions. I have worked a lot with 48 minutes. You said there, it's 24, but 24, it's 24 minutes when it goes to 42 after 2 months. Until next year, another year passes, so it's another 22 minutes. So one issue there is 22 minutes. It's guaranteed at 5 for 2. Davy gave us the impression that if it's a wording amendment, he even called his advisor, if it's resolved, it can take effect immediately after promulgation. Of course, man.
Guys, we have to start the process, right? This press conference just happened a little while ago, and now the debate has already started there in the plenary. Here it is. Look, this debate is happening in the plenary about the 6-shift schedule where several organizations were summoned. Both organizations that are against it, okay, representing commerce and such, the employers as well as the labor unions and the union centers will also speak out there in the Senate plenary now. It's happening right now. It's like a public hearing in the plenary with several people speaking out. The thing is, the way it was presented, it's already good. It won't bankrupt anyone. And this 6-day shift guarantee workers at least 2 days of rest per week without a pay cut. That won't break anyone, no. So Davy Alcolum, who's making all this fuss, we know why. He's looking for protection from the Lula government regarding the federal police. Daniel Vorcado himself, for the first time, admitted in this second attempt at a plea bargain that he paid him a bribe of 155 million reais. So he's there making all this fuss like a reality show, but he won't be able to hold on. The labor unions are there. The unions are at the Senate. They're putting on pressure from all sides, and the people are also going out into the streets. People went out yesterday and will soon organize more and go again. More than 80% of Brazil's population is against this 6-day shift. Everyone wants at least 2 days off, people. That's the minimum. And Davi Alcolumbre should prepare himself, because if he doesn't act, they'll come after him with everything. Make it clear. Davi Alcolumbre, enemy of the people. Either he falls in line or they're coming after him. Everyone out on the streets. And let's see what happens. The government is trying to solve things peacefully, trying to talk, but it's getting complicated. Even Congressman Lindenberg Farias is losing his patience. Look at what he said here. Pay attention.
Davi Alcolumbre, what kind of joke is this? You are mocking, making fun of the Brazilian people on an issue that is approved by 80% of the population. It's been a month since the proposed constitutional amendment to end the 6x1 shift has been there, and it's stalled. You sat on it. You haven't even started processing it. There's a bus driver's strike in Rio de Janeiro. Participation in the strike is high. Alcolumbre, do you know their demands? An end to the 6-day work schedule. This is going to grow. It's going to turn into a gigantic snowball. And we're going to approve this. Whether you like it or not, stop blackmailing. Respect the hardworking Brazilian people. Alcolumbre, what kind of joke is this? You're mocking.
Put it there, my dear, my girl. Husband, Alcolumbre, what kind of joke is this? Put the 6x shift up for approval. My dear, smash the like button, comment, and share. Kiss, thank you so much.